Hi there, Firebirds. We are reading Stranded by Ben Michelson. This is going to be chapter 2. When we read last, we know that she is in Florida. She is in her dinghy, the titmouse, and she has seen this whale being attacked by what she says looks like a small shark. And she is holding the oar over the water ready to hit whatever it is that is attacking. Okay, for today, we are going to be talking about our senses and using our senses and identifying how the author uses our senses to give you a better, fuller picture of the story of what's happening in our setting and what Kobe is feeling like. So you are going to need a piece of paper and a pencil. Go ahead and grab those now. Pause the video if you don't have them ready. And you're going to set up your piece of paper like this. All right. Let me back up so you can see it. Okay, so I have drawn a line. First I drew my paper into thirds here, my whiteboard, and then I drew the top 2/3. I partitioned again so that I've got 4 up here and then 1 across the bottom. Okay, so what I want you to do in the top quadrant here is a looks like, and you can either write looks like or draw our eyes. Okay, pause the video if you need to copy that down. Next to looks like on the top, we're going to do sounds like, or you can draw your ear or both. Below looks like, we're going to do smells like. This is my little nose that is smelling some smells. Next to smells like, we'll do tastes like. And I drew my little mouth here. Now at the bottom, our last sense, our tactile sense, we've got our feels like, but I'm leaving room for 2 different types of feels like. I have feels like with our hand, our tactile, our touch, and our feels like I drew a heart because we have some feelings like our emotions that we might have some details in this chapter. So we are going to be filling this out as we read this chapter. I will give you some ideas, but I want you to be doing the listening and filling it out as we go. Feel free to pause. Again, I will be asking you questions, and at the end we will look at our little chart. All right, chapter 2. Gradually, the water cleared. Still gripping the oar, Kobe took a sharp breath and blinked hard. "A calf," she explained. "A calf! You had a baby." A calf is a baby whale. An umbilical cord joined the wounded whale and her newborn calf like a knotted telephone cord. Oh, that could be an interesting metaphor that they used for our looks like. We could draw or write about what the umbilical cord looked like, this knotted telephone cord. The baby arched, stretching the creases on its shiny body. It hung in a dark, diluted pool full of birth fluids and blood. The mother flopped her gashed flipper. Still, the umbilical cord held like a leash. She rolled and twisted harder, snapping the cord near the baby's wrinkled body. The calf's tail flukes were curled, and its dorsal fin laid sideways from being in the womb. At first, Kobe smiled. Then, her fascination turned to horror. The calf drifted downward. Awkwardly, the mother nosed at the baby, but it slipped away from her. Kobe's thoughts scrambled. Her friend at the dock, an old sea captain named Nickeljack, claimed that with dolphins, younger females often acted as midwives and helped a weakened mother push her baby to the surface for its first breath. But today, there were no midwives. So this baby whale has been born, and what has happened, so if we have our whale here and our baby whale underneath, once that umbilical cord has been broken off, that baby whale is starting to drift down, and the mom is trying to push the baby whale up to take a breath, because remember, whales are mammals and they need to breathe oxygen. The waves pummeled the big whale's body. Several yards away, the newborn calf continued to drift deeper. He appeared to flop. Again, the exhausted mother nosed roughly at her young. The desperate movement shoved the calf even deeper. Finally, the mother surfaced and let out a long, defeated whistle. A whistle. That's probably a sound that you could add to your picture of a sounds like. "He needs air," Kobe shouted. The calf disappeared. He was drowning. Like a person, he was drowning. Kobe grabbed the anchor and heaved it overboard. Line paid out rapidly, but slackened after a few seconds as the anchor bottomed. Quickly, she slipped on her face mask and her single flipper. Why does she have just one flipper for her foot? Remember when we did Kobe's character analysis, one of the things that was important about her was that she has a prosthetic foot. She lost her foot in an accident, and she doesn't like wearing the prosthetic, the leggy, out in the boat. So she's only got one flipper for her one remaining foot. She hesitated as she licked salt spray from her lips. There's a hint for what something might have tasted like in this chapter. Healthy, the mother whale would kill anything that approached her baby. Wounded, she might still try. Kobe adjusted her mask and plunged overboard. Cool salt water swirled and bubbled around her. How did it feel, the water? I wonder if you could add that to your chart. She surfaced to breathe, then dived, twisting, kicking, searching. At first, nothing. Then, 30 feet away, she spotted a dim form drifting downward. Kobe needed more air. Again, she surfaced, breathed hard, and dived. She pinched her nose and blew to equalize the pressure on her ears. Even as Kobe swam downward, the calf sank deeper. The telltale ache for air gnawed at Kobe's lungs. Mouth closed, she tried to yawn at the building pressure in her ears. She kicked harder. Stroke after stroke, she drew closer. With a last jerky lunge, she reached the motionless calf and grabbed it by its soft flippers. The calf, nearly as big as she, slipped awkwardly from her grip. She fumbled and tried to shove it upward. Again, the smooth skin slipped through her grasp like a slick inner tube. Ooh, there's a great example of how the author uses that tactile sense. I wonder if you can add that to your chart. Normally, Kobe breathed deeply for several minutes before a dive. Not having done so made her lungs feel on fire. She hugged the calf tightly to her body. The warmth of its slippery body surprised her. She kicked upwards. Bright shafts of brackish sunlight filtered down through the waves. The surface had to be near. Kobe blinked hard. All her feelings were melting together and burning up her insides. Okay, this is a really interesting sentence. I'm going to read it again because it talks about what she's feeling like. All her feelings were melting together and burning up her insides. She clenched her teeth, wanting to scream. If she let go of the calf, she could surface in seconds. She hugged harder and kicked furiously. So, she's got the sensation of her lungs feeling like they're on fire because she has to take a breath. But she also has her emotions inside of her, burning up her insides. I want to know what you think that feeling, that emotion is, and add it to your chart. With the calf's head pressed against her cheek, she felt the faint but rapid pulsing of a heartbeat. It excited her. Now, the surface hovered overhead like a transparent, shimmering sheet. Air, within arm's reach. As her chest threatened to explode, Kobe broke the surface. She gulped and gasped for air. Releasing the calf, she shoved her mask up and coughed. The baby whale awoke as if from sleep. It thrashed its stiff tail and sculled at the water. A loud popping sounded through its blowhole. Nearby, the mother floated motionless. She seemed unaware of anything. Kobe noticed the current had drifted them a stone's throw away from the anchored dinghy. An easy swim, she thought. On the horizon, the last glimmer of the setting sun had blinked from sight. All right, we have a lot of interesting information here. So by the time that Kobe has dived down to get this whale back up to the surface, the current is pushing them away from her dinghy. Remember, she dropped the anchor, so the boat is not going anywhere, but they are drifting farther away. We also know that in our setting, the last glimmer of the setting sun had blinked from sight. So the sun is setting, which means it's evening, but now all of the light is down below the horizon. So now we're getting towards dusk and night. After more popping breaths, ooh, that's a good auditory sense used there, the calf flopped hard and disappeared, then surfaced with a clumsy leap. Misty breaths puffed from its blowhole as it circled. "Over there!" Kobe shouted, pointing toward the mother. The calf moved the wrong way, making shrill squeaks. "Over there!" Kobe screamed. It was no use. The calf splashed outward and away. Kobe started swimming after it, then stopped and instead headed cautiously towards the mother. Any moment, the big whale might come alive and attack. Why do you think Kobe is feeling cautious as she moves towards the mother? She says any moment it might come alive and attack. Why do you think a mother whale might attack someone coming towards her in the water after giving birth? Think about that. "Easy, big lady. Call your baby," Kobe cooed, swimming alongside. The whale stared vacantly. Vacantly means she's not connecting. She's staring off into space. There doesn't seem to be a lot of presence there behind her eyes. "Call your baby," Kobe said louder. She reached out and touched the rubbery dark skin. The movement seemed to startle the floating giant. Alertness glimmered in her eyes, and she let out a long, scratchy moan. Kobe tensed. In the distance, the calf turned at the sound. He splashed his tail and squirted under the waves. Almost instantly, he surfaced alongside the mother, blowing hard. "You did it, lady," Kobe explained. "You called your baby." She pulled her mask back over her eyes and submerged to look at the calf. Vertical creases from being crowded inside the mother circled the small body. His fluke and fin remained curled. Deliberately, the calf nuzzled and nudged along the mother. He stopped at a narrow slit under her tail and bunted at the opening. Tiny bubbles rose. Small puffs of milk clouded the water. And that is the end of chapter 2. So we leave Kobe watching the baby whale nurse feed from its mother, who was able to call it back. Okay, so hopefully you were able to think of a couple of things to add to your chart. Again, you can use pictures, phrases, sentences. And if you have not, I want you to pause the video, see what you can think of to add before I go over a couple. There are so many different things that we've used in this chapter. You probably could pick one or two. If you want to add as many as you can think of, that's fine. You might need another piece of paper. I'm going to only use one example. All right. Looks like, let's see if I can shift this a little bit over here. Okay. Looks like here, there it is. Looks like it's going to be the easiest. We had a lot of different visual descriptions in this chapter. I liked the description where Kobe was rising up to the surface and she could see the air up above the surface. I think it was described as like a glimmering sheet. So I'm going to sketch a quick picture here of the surface of the water, and maybe we can put the setting sun in here. And Kobe, with her one flipper, she was swimming up to the surface, holding on to that baby whale. Wow. All right. There's Kobe swimming up to the surface, and she can see the light coming through here as a description, a visual description, excuse me. So I'm going to put glimmering sheet. And excuse me if that's not quite the proper description. You can look back or listen back and see some more. All right, sounds like there were several sounds. We heard Kobe shouting, but one of the most interesting sounds we heard was the description of what the whale's breathing sounded like and the different sounds that the whales made as the mother called the baby and as the baby swam back towards the mother. So I'm going to do the popping breaths was the description. So make sure you can see this. I'm going to add popping breaths. And then I'm going to try and draw this little baby whale here. And we've got that curly dorsal fin, and there's the blowhole there. The popping. So that sound was that popping, breathing through the blowhole. Smells like. This chapter did not describe any smells like. The last chapter we had the description of the smell like rotting fish that was coming from the mother whale. So this chapter did not have any smells like. So I'm going to put an X there, unless you found something that I don't remember reading. You could include from last chapter, the blowhole. Taste like. There's not going to be a whole lot of descriptions in a chapter, but we happen to have the salty taste on Kobe's lips. So make sure you could see that salty air on Kobe's lips. And remember, she licked her lips because she was feeling nervous about going into the water. Well, I'm going to put her mask on there, give her some hair. So she tasted her lips. She tasted the salty air. She was feeling nervous about going in the water with the mother whale. Feels like. So we had a lot of tactile feels like, and we had a couple of emotions in here. I specifically remember the scene where Kobe is trying to, I'm struggling to balance this. Let me see. I might just do it and then show you. Okay, so I remember the scene where Kobe is trying to grab onto that baby whale when she was down under the water, and it said that the skin was very slippery. We also felt the warmth of the whale. So I'm going to add in slippery, warm. So I'm going to draw Kobe's hand here, touching that baby whale, that she was slippery and warm. And then the feeling, there she is touching the baby whale. Forgive my artistry. I'm doing my best sideways here. All right, feels like. We talked about those emotions that she was feeling. When Kobe said that she felt the pressure in her lungs like they were on fire, the emotion that I think of, the feeling that she had during that, was a feeling of desperation. She really, really, really needs to take a breath. She is desperate to take a breath. But she's determined. She doesn't want to give up and let go of this baby whale. So I'll draw, I'll write in desperation, determination, two good vocabulary words there, determination. Let's see if I can draw what desperation might look like over here. You see any of this? So she's desperate, feeling maybe a little bit scared, nervous. She really, really, really needs to take a breath. And determined, she's feeling determined. Her face might look like this. She's got her eyes set. She's gonna do it. She knows she's gonna do it. She's determined to get to the top. We also had that feeling of excitement, right? And she was happy when she was watching that, the baby be born, and when she turned around, she was excited. Put some excitement in there. Excitement. All right, well, let's make sure you can see all of that for feels like. If you had any other ideas, feel free to fill them in, draw them in. There are lots of really good visual descriptions that you could add into your looks like you could try to draw some of the different sounds that the mother whale made. I'd have to look back. That deep groaning kind of call that she made to get the baby to come. No smells like in this chapter, though you could draw the one from the chapter before. Tastes like, this is the only example was the salty air. There were lots of good feels, like we had that cool water sensation. Other things that you might want to put in. Different feelings that Kobe had certainly when she approached the mother whale, not just this scene when she is swimming with the baby in the excitement. So, awesome. I hope you enjoyed chapter 2. Oh, there's Rosie. Hi, Rosie. There she is. Anyway, hope you enjoyed chapter 2, and I will see you later for chapter 3.